What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Glory Boys podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Austin.
I'm Darren.
I'm Trev.
And in this episode, we have a special guest,
Yeah.
Mr. Kevin Kabore.
Let's go.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having me.
How's it going, man?
A little jet lag, but I'm good.
Jet lag? Where are you coming from?
I just came from Rwanda last night.
Wow. And you're here today.
Jeez, tell us about that trip. What was happening?
My dad was like getting his PhD in leadership, so he's talking to like Bible students across the country. He asked if I want to come film, and I was
Sick.
like, why not?
Yeah, do it.
What
Stop on a
happened.
plane quick.
Yeah,
and just,
literally.
how long is that flight?
Going there was 24 hours.
Oh
Coming
my
back was
gosh.
32 hours.
Oh,
Jeez.
wow.
What's the time difference? Like
It's
10
like-
hours?
It's like something like that.
Sheesh.
ahead.
And how long were you there?
I was there for a week.
Okay. So
Wow.
just probably long enough to kind of adjust to their
Yeah.
time and
And
then
then
throw it right back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But the flight is long enough that like you just forget all time. And
Yeah.
then you come back and you're just tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just messed up right now. Just
It wasn't
Dang.
too bad because I came at like 11, so I was like, I was just ready to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, let's chat a little bit about who you are, what you do, just so our listeners know.
Mhm.
We just know you from the last few years. You're a local creative here in Omaha, Nebraska, just like we are, and we've never really connected a ton until just very recently, which is cool. Like God's timing's perfect, but it's just cool to have you. So I would love for you to share a little bit. You're an amazing creative. You do so many really cool things. You've traveled to like the dopest places in the world, but just would love to just hear a little bit about you and what you do.
I never know how to respond to this. Like I do like photos, videos, a little bit of graphic design,
Yeah.
and I never know how to like.
Yeah.
respond.
So I guess like, do you have your own company or? Do
Oh
you
yeah, I
just-
have my own company, but
Yeah.
I guess my background is I did social media for a lot of different companies in town.
Okay.
So like Exarban was like the biggest one. I was doing that for 2 years. So I
Okay.
did everything there, like from like website to like social. And then recently I went full time, created on my own.
Heck yeah, dude.
Okay. That's
great.
sick. Did you go to school for any of this or what?
I went to school for fine art.
Okay. Fine art.
Yeah, at UNO.
Wow.
Nice.
sick.
So when you were growing up, to back up even further, what did you think you wanted to be?
I wanted to be in the NBA 1,000%.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, yeah.
1,000%.
Then we
Like,
had the same dreams.
Yeah. That was
I
like,
also wanted to be in the NBA.
I think I wanted to be a lot of different things. Like I
Okay.
went from like a basketball player to I wanted to be a doctor. And then I guess like I was always doing creative stuff because like my
Sure.
parents were now they're pastors, but before that they were like documentarians and like musicians.
Wow.
So like since I was a kid, I always had cameras and like editing.
Okay.
like,
So that was gonna be my next question is when did creative like kind of enter the story for you? But it sounds like it's been around for
I
a
think
while.
when I was 13, my dad like forced me to take pictures. So like I would go out and he would be like, take 100 pictures, and then he would come back and tell me why all of them suck.
Dang.
He was like,
That's a
Whoa.
smart man.
He was like,
My
that's
dad had a
overexposed.
camera and he like never let me touch it. So, you know.
He was like, that's bad composition. Like, and it was so detailed, like why these are bad,
Wow.
that it was just like, I hate
So
it.
okay, hold on, back up. What did Dad do then? Like, why was he so creative, so fanatical about like
Mhm.
composition and all that back then?
Like he was a musician first.
Okay.
And he went into like producing and did a bunch of like films and built studios. Like he's just like an all around creative.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like,
Wow.
and my uncles were photographers, so like they're
Yeah.
just very
Just runs in the blood.
yeah.
Dang.
And they're like to this day, he's probably still like a little bit better than me. Like I remember I did an animated like globe and then just zoomed into like wherever it was in the
Mhm.
scene. He's like, yeah, that's nice. And then he's like, Google me. And then like he did a video like 2006 where like the intro was the exact same that I just showed him. And I was
No.
like, yeah, like whatever.
Dang.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So he's
That's
like,
cool.
Dang. That's awesome. I love that.
Hard to impress, though, I can imagine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even like I was ranked like in 2020 top 5 food photographers, and he was like, "Good job." And he like
What?
waited, and he was like, "Do you want to know why you weren't number one?" And he just went
Oh,
into
no.
like,
Dang.
he just went straight into
That's
it.
hard.
Part of me
Dad.
wishes that I had your dad, and then part of me is glad that I did it. That's awesome, though.
What's your dad's name?
Patrice.
Patrice. Shout out Patrice. That's sick. Cool. So at what point did you realize you were working for other companies doing social media and stuff? what was kind of the tipping point to going full time into your own thing? Were you just like getting enough freelance work that you decided it was time, or what was that like?
I think I was just like, I realized I wouldn't be fulfilled doing it for someone else.
Mm,
So like I didn't necessarily have like a plan, but I was just like,
okay.
if I'm so like I was doing it for Nautil companies, which I learned a lot, but they own a bunch of different companies, so I ended up doing it for like one company, but it ended up being like 10 companies underneath it. So
Oh
like
wow.
I was running Nautil companies, Sunny's, Interrail, Nautil companies, Sunny's, Interrail, Nautil Homes. And then each one had like an Instagram, a Facebook, a social media. Exarban was one of them. So it was like ended up being like 7 Instagram accounts at the
Yeah.
end of the
Oh my
day.
word.
So the
Wow.
amount of content was like, if I could push out this amount, I could have 7 clients, and then like
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
if they paid me half each one, I
Sure.
could be making
Right.
a decent amount.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was just like
Wow.
overly confident in myself.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I
Yeah.
was just like overly confident.
Huh.
Didn't necessarily have any like tangible proof.
So that's great. I have a question for you. So managing like that many accounts, like how stressful did that get? Like, does that lead to burnout? Like, are you just like over it, or is it just kind of come second nature where you're like, oh, this is fine?
It was burnout for sure.
Yeah.
Because at first I was doing everything for those, like posting
Uh-huh.
captions.
Yeah.
And then I told my boss, like Sam, I was like, bro, I can't like post and like make all this. It's just like, I just can't do it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But like doing it, you just get efficient over time.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I can go in shooting, knowing this is going to be like 10 posts instead of like having to shoot every single day and edit every day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, kind of get better at that.
Right.
Yeah. Making the most out of the shoot times, making the most out of the content that you do get, stretching it up a longer period of time
Exactly.
rather than being like, we have to do a shoot every day to get fresh content every day. It's like,
Yeah.
no, just shoot multiple things in a smaller window and
Exactly.
being more effective.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've all managed a lot of accounts over the years, and it, with our church when we started, that was a big deal. You got to post all the time, trying to gain traction. We got a business, then we start, a podcast, and we start, a clothing company. Just keeps going, and content just never seems to end. And I don't know that we're ever to a place where, we're never not gonna have to shoot something or edit something, which is, I think it's still fun and great, but it is hard to manage when you get to that threshold of like, okay, I have 7 accounts right now. I don't know if I can handle another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just interesting. We were just having this conversation the other day as we step into doing more of like an agency type service for people. Posting is one of the biggest asks. And it's hard because we got some advice recently that said, hey, if it's anything beyond the content creation or ideation, I just wouldn't handle the posting and have someone else do it. And so we probably took that pretty much to heart of like, okay, we're not going to go after posting just because it is a whole nother side of the brain of like
Mhm.
thinking up a content calendar.
Yeah.
If you got
Yeah.
7 or more different companies, it's just you got to research and R&D and just all this stuff that you don't necessarily maybe have the time for, especially if we're filming and we're editing and we're doing these other things, unless we hired like a whole separate, a bunch of Kevins to,
Right.
to do
Yeah.
it for us. So, so I think, social media is very overwhelming and can be really stressful. for
And I
sure.
think, like, at least I was blessed where, like, they never had anyone like me before on the team.
Okay.
So, like, I kind of got to, like,
Figure it out.
figure out
Yeah.
and make
Mhm.
the brand myself.
Mm.
So then it was like, okay, there's a bunch of different brands that, like, came from my brain
Sure.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's easier versus, like, a company where it's like they have a specific brand.
For
and you have to,
sure.
like, appease
Really
that.
bottleneck you. in
Sure.
there. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, you get to learn on somebody else's dime, really, which is cool when you meet somebody that has influence and has brands and companies that they trust you with, and then you get to kind of figure out, and they trust your creative. Then you get to really learn and grow, but also get paid for it, which is sick. And I think that, I mean, whoever you said it was Sam. Oh, is it Sam?
Nautil.
Oh, Nautil. That's right. Okay, cool.
Shout
Yeah.
out Sam.
Shout out Sam. Good job, Sam. So that's really cool that you got the opportunity and someone trusted you and your creative to really make a difference in their companies. And you did, clearly, because all those companies are killing it and their social media pages look great. So,
Mm-hmm.
so good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what types of projects, or I guess I should ask this first, are the projects you take and work on now a lot different than what you were doing for those companies when you were running socials?
So, like, one of them was real estate, commercial real estate. One of
Okay.
them was, like, food and beverage. And
Mhm.
another one was, like, product.
Okay.
So, like, the main reason I liked it was it was a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it wasn't like I'm doing
Variety.
the same thing over and over
Yep.
again.
Yeah.
So like now I'm just more picky on what I take.
Yeah. Okay.
That's great.
Yeah. I
What
think-
types of things, I guess, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
what types of projects are you taking, or what are you like excited about right now? As
Mhm.
because how long have you been full time?
Technically like 3 or 4 months.
Okay,
I think it's more what I'm not taking. Like
sure.
live events, I just am not excited about.
Yeah,
I'm just
about
like I'm just like
I can share that
Yeah,
with you.
like-
Yeah, that
even weddings. Like
can relate.
the weddings I do are usually destination weddings.
Sure.
So then it's like okay, like
Yep.
it's in a cool location. It's
Right.
Because honestly, I made a post on why I hate weddings and like everyone is the same, and I got more weddings booked from that.
Of
than
course.
I ever had. Because they were like, oh yeah, I hate all those things too. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I almost wonder we're also not going to take weddings anymore after 5 years, and we have one next year. But I was thinking about like making the post of like we don't do weddings anymore, and I was curious if people would be hitting us up.
Yo,
Be
people
like,
hit you up.
Yo, like I know you don't
But
do
can
them
you do
anymore.
mine?
Right.
Yeah,
you
they're like,
don't do
we don't
them.
like those weddings either. Because I was like, I don't like weddings that are like this.
Right.
And they were
And
like same.
I'm not even lying. I literally just got a text. Hey, bro, what do you guys charge to shoot a wedding?
No,
like just
stop
like
it.
10 minutes ago. But it's just like it sucks because like your films, they're great. Like they're thoughtful. They're like, you know, when you put like the story and you care about the color and the music, and then the bride and groom see it, and it's like you get to literally relive the day. It's not just
Mhm.
filming a bunch of clips and it's just trash, but it's actually thought out and so much care.
Mhm.
It's that creative that you bring to it. Well, then we're good at them, but it's so like life sucking. It's every Saturday. It's every, you know, it's traveling. It's all this stuff, being away from family. And so it's like, okay, well, let's just not do it anymore. It's not really worth it. But there's the other part of me personally that I'm like, but I love the value that we bring to the day. And
The
I love
impact.
the impact that
Yep.
we've made on the couples. Like we became friends with some of the couples and we still talk to them to this day, you know?
That's
So
the
it's
other thing. It's like I do
Yeah.
like. It's not
Bro.
that I hate them. Like
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
it's like the idea of them suck. But
Yeah,
then
yeah,
once
yeah.
you're
If
there,
they
you're
were like, you know, if you could do your wedding starting at 8 a.m. and ending at 5 p.m. like
Yeah.
on a Tuesday, you know,
Yeah,
I would love
be
shooting
there.
weddings.
Yeah, we'll for sure do it. Yeah.
But
Oh,
they're
man.
risky too. I feel like I don't know if you've ever had any.
Ooh, we got any horror
Hopefully,
stories?
you've never had any issues. You know, SD cards corrupting or losing
Yes.
footage. You have.
Yes.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah.
But like, I always have a second shooter just
Yeah,
because
right.
like
Smart. Good job.
things like this
Yep.
I know have happened.
For sure.
But like the times the SD cards have corrupted, it's only been like a very specific window where I've
Yeah.
been able to
Mm.
finesse.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So it's like maybe the ceremony didn't have audio, or maybe like this
Yeah.
one clip just got corrupted.
For sure.
I've never had like the entire
thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like,
Yeah. Praise
That's
God.
honestly like for me. I think my biggest reason for not wanting to shoot weddings anymore is because, and we've never had that happen. Thankfully, we've never lost any footage. But that's the thing. Like, it's
Right.
not a matter of if; it's a
Right.
matter of when. Even if you take all the precautions, and we always do backup audio recordings. We always two of everything.
Mhm.
2 cards in your camera, 2 shooters rolling at all times, 2 different sources of audio. Because if one corrupts, but like, so thankfully we've never lost anything. But I just know
Yeah.
it's literally just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And you can't, weddings are like one of the only things that you cannot reshoot.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
A lot of
So,
pressure.
anyways,
not being
That's-
able to reshoot it is like you just can't.
yeah.
You can't. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thought of telling a bride that I don't have the footage from their wedding
Yeah.
makes me want to go find a different job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened to a photographer that I worked with one time
Mm.
before I worked here. And it happened to her. She like hit me up after the wedding and was like,
So stressful.
I lost all my photos from like this point in the
Oh
day
my.
to this point
Yep.
in the day. Can you like what do you have? Can you help? And so I'd like just try to pull stills
Yep.
from like
Yeah.
all my video during that part. But I was like, even that, I was like, oh no, no,
Tough.
no. It's knocking on my door.
Yep. We had
Yeah.
that happen too with a photographer that we worked with. Very successful photographer.
Yeah.
And it happens to the best of
Mhm.
us. Like,
Yep.
it's not, yeah. So, anyways, that's
It's-
the biggest reason for me is just the risk. And,
The last thing that I'll say, we don't have to talk about weddings because
Right.
we don't do weddings.
yeah. Suck it, weddings.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
We're
kidding.
just spending 20 minutes on our
I know.
podcast talking about them. But hey, they brought us to where we are today. They
Yeah.
are
Yes.
a great
Yeah.
place of entry level income and starting a business. They're
Mhm.
super great for that. Because you can make multiple thousands of dollars in a day, and
Mhm.
it's a lot of work, but it can really kickstart your business
Yep.
like it did ours.
Mm-hmm.
But the last thing I would say about that is, I believe that because of the amount of creatives that we are all at this table, the level of like attention to detail and story and care that we put into it. If you like roll up into a wedding and they just don't care about details, so everything
Mhm.
kind of looks flat and like, oh, we didn't cover the walls because we didn't care. We didn't dress the tables. We didn't really care. Budget wasn't there. We have like, a buffet line for the food. And so nothing really captures well. Or, maybe the bride and groom aren't super like lovey-dovey in love. And so, and not that they're not in love, but they don't show it. So
Yeah.
they've been dating for 15 years and just got married. So
Mhm.
you can feel that in the footage. And so they're not doing the things, they're not acting. When they kiss, they act awkward. Like,
Yeah.
we've done this a million times. Like,
Right.
so you don't capture this beautiful thing that we are trying to create. And so
Yeah.
then you're like taking this couple that's awkward and trying to fit this round, in a square peg, and you're just
Mhm.
trying to make stuff work. Hey, act beautiful at this sunset thing. And
Right.
it's just, it doesn't feel authentic. And so then you're stuck with that footage. It doesn't feel authentic, and you're trying to manipulate it to make it work, which you can do. I mean, you do finesse, parts that you,
Right.
you just got to do what you got to do with music and color and B-roll and some effects, some film overlay, whatever you got to do.
Whatever.
But I think that's a really big part of it. Is it's a lot more fun to work with a couple that cares about the creative and the art, and
Mhm.
the cinema value, the cinematic value that we add. And when they don't, it's just like, we're just here with a camera. They don't care
Yeah.
about capturing stuff.
Yeah.
It's like pulling teeth trying to get a sunset portrait session.
And like something that I like realized based on that is like this could be like our thousandth or millionth wedding. So we have the privilege of comparing their wedding to
Right.
like the most epic wedding.
Right,
ever.
right.
But
Yeah.
it could be their first. It's their first.
Well,
wedding.
yeah, hopefully,
Right?
yeah.
So like for them, a lot of times it's like anything we make, even if it's mid to us, is like
Mhm.
amazing to them.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
Which is,
sure.
Like,
Yeah, you're right. That's a great point.
That is fair.
so that gives me like, I'm like, okay, I could pull like those weddings when like they don't care about anything. I'm like, I could phone this in and it would still be like 10 times better than what
Sure.
I expected.
That's fair. Which I think is also another just gift in itself of like taking pretty mid days and mid content that you capture and making it into this cinematic, beautiful film. And they're like, oh my gosh, like maybe you focus more on establishing shots. Maybe you focus on doing like some cool slow-mo, like dress stuff. Or we did a thing for a long time called Dress Out or Stressed Out, Dress Out. And we'd like make sure that we put the dress somewhere where like it stressed us all out, like
Right.
climbing up
Yeah.
on stuff, hanging it from something, like it's like the wind's blowing it, it's
Yeah.
about to fall off into the ocean. Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, but we always try to make it like, we put the creative effort into making even like some of the basic shots like feel really epic. So it kind of lifted the film a little bit.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's enough.
Yeah.
So
Apparently-
outside of weddings,
outside of weddings, like
what other projects are you like
Not
excited
taken-
about right now?
excited
What do you
about?
What do you love to do most?
Yeah.
The fashion films have been exciting me lately.
Yeah?
So I shot like African Fashion Week, and
Okay.
then one of the designers for Omaha Fashion Week wanted me to do their film,
oh wow.
and then I don't care. The Omaha Fashion Week person was like, "Hey, do you want to do next year's videos?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Dang.
Sick.
So,
Let's
like,
go.
That's cool. Like that's cool, but like I don't think fashion pays like that. Like I
Sure,
tell my friends
yeah.
all the time, like I would do it to do it. But,
Yeah.
like it's not necessarily like I kind of structured my business as in getting like retainer clients for social, and then
Mhm.
every project I take is a project that I want to personally do.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
even if I
Okay.
don't get paid on it, it's like it's something that
This is something you care
fulfills my
about. Or
creativity.
want
For
to
sure.
do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, that is cool. Sweet. So let's talk travel. Where is the craziest place you've gone because of work? Because of this type of work?
Craziest like cool or craziest like get me out.
Both.
Of here?
Oh, both.
Both,
Yeah,
both, for
let's hear
sure.
both.
Yeah.
I feel like Hawaii was like just epic.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was epic.
Yeah.
It's like
We just filmed a wedding there like a couple months ago.
Yeah,
Or maybe like,
yeah.
yeah.
And so like we filmed the wedding, and then the couple was like, "Hey, do you want us to book everything, or do you want us to just like pay you and then you book your trip?"
Mm.
And I was like, "Yeah, we'll book the trip."
Yeah,
So then,
yeah,
like,
let's do it.
we ended up like shooting the wedding, staying like an extra week, going to 2 different islands, and just
Wow.
like getting every piece of content we wanted.
Wow.
To.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like, it was cool, but there was some sketchy moments. Where
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like, how did we get?
How do we get in this
Yeah.
moment?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Like what kind of sketchy moments?
Like we're on the side of a mountain. We're like going on a highway. All of a sudden, it turns into a cliff, and it's like we got lost, completely lost.
Dang.
Me and my friend Julian, Woody's Media, we
Yeah.
completely got
Oh,
lost. We
yeah.
were stranded. So we fly up the drone just to see where we're,
Right.
which
Where
way to
are
go.
we?
Yeah.
And like, if we didn't have the drone, we were like, I don't know how we would have.
Dang.
Because there's no turning back. Because
Wow.
it's just straight downhill.
right.
We went
and then
up.
the lane's just
the
thin enough
lane's
for one
thin
car.
enough.
Yeah.
Like left, there's a tree blocking.
Yeah.
Forward, there's a tree blocking. And then to the right, it just straight down.
Wow.
Dang.
We're like, where do we?
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And you got out because you're
Got
here.
out, we
So
got out. Every time I'm in Africa, it's crazy too.
yeah.
It's just
Okay.
like, there's parts where you're like, wow, and the other parts where you're just like, what is this? You know, like Apple Pay work there, which is like, it doesn't work in Omaha sometimes. So like,
Yeah.
that's like, why is it working? Then you
That's
see like
amazing.
a
Sick.
guy with like a Rolls Royce and then a guy riding a donkey and just like right next to each other.
Yeah.
You're just like,
Yeah, that is wild.
That's
this is
super
crazy.
bizarre.
Yeah, I'm a
And,
little
like-
bit bougie. Like I like my AC. I like.
For
Ooh,
sure.
Yeah.
So like, if I wasn't filming, I wouldn't go in uncomfortable situations like that.
Mm.
Okay.
But, like for the shot. I
Yeah.
would-
Yeah,
Oh,
do it for the
that's
shot.
it.
Yeah.
Did you get a shot of the donkey in the Rolls Royce?
I got it.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
a
yeah.
couple.
Okay, that's dope. So, okay, right now, you obviously live in Omaha still. You travel a lot, but obviously we have mutual friends, Edison Creative, that you're doing an internship there, just kind of like.
They're one of my retainers. I'm helping with the social
Okay.
and like some editing.
Okay,
stuff.
sick.
Great.
So yeah, that's awesome. What talk to us a little bit about like yeah, that service and what you're providing and just kind of like your relationship with them because they're awesome.
They're super cool. The
Yeah.
first time I worked with them was like the Bud Crawford gym promo.
Okay.
They like hit me up, like backtrack. They had me on social media for a while, and
Okay.
they're friends with my good friend Joseph Saeed. And they
Okay.
hit him up. They're like, "Who's this Kabukas guy? Like, would he be down to like shoot, or is he like stuck up?" And then like, then Joseph called me. He's like, "Bro, they asked if you'd be down." And I said, "Yeah, he'd be down. Just hit him up." So then like I met with them. I shot that. Then I shot like the Nike project with them.
Okay.
They asked me like, "Hey, can we use your footage to pitch Nike for live action?" I was like, "Yeah, send it."
Right.
Yeah,
Send
for
it.
sure.
So
Send it
then
over.
I did that, and then now I help them with like shoots consistently
Yeah.
and like some editing. And then, like,
Yeah, I saw a little
social.
BTS of you like on a couch or
Yeah,
something. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, yo,
doing
that looks like
something.
us.
It's just yeah, so
Yeah, just getting crazy. That's awesome. That's
That's
awesome,
great.
bro.
but they're great.
Yeah, they're the best.
So
No.
how do you go about like connecting with some of your other clients? Is it always just they find you on social, or is it like are you doing some sort of like reach out?
Usually it's like either they find me on social or it's like a mutually like they know me,
Okay.
which I feel like is the best clients when you
Yeah.
don't have to
Oh,
like
for
pitch
sure.
them
Yeah.
like on your
Mhm.
good, but they're just like, oh yeah, we know your work,
Mhm.
would be down.
Yeah, personal connections go a long way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
for sure.
So that's like 95%. I haven't
Okay.
really reached out for.
Yeah. Do you find it like that you're consistently adding new clients, or do you kind of have your base set of like, these are my clients who I've kind of got them in the back pocket.
I think it's right now. It's at least consistently.
Yeah.
Like I think I can only take one more, and then I'm
Okay.
like,
And you've kind of hit
I'm
capacity.
kind of hit like capacity
Yeah.
to still be able to do like the creative stuff.
Right. Yeah. Got
Yeah,
it.
so are you kind of like retainer based then? That's kind of like you got like a good cushion, you have so many spots open, and then you obviously want that to pay your bills and live your life, but then you also have, you know, that time that you want to create and do some stuff on the side and stuff that's
Yeah,
fun and more
that's-
fulfilling for you.
That's exactly it.
Sick.
Because like I was salaried for so long, so I'm used to
Yeah.
like the consistency. So like,
Mhm.
how do you replicate that as
Sure.
being creative? Because you can't like, yeah, you might get a shoot that's $3,000, but like you can't necessarily bank on like that
Right.
happening all the time.
Yeah,
So,
for
like,
sure.
The retainer banks on that, and then like the shoots come. If they don't come,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that's probably really valuable for a lot of people listening, just trying to figure out if they're doing their own thing. How do I structure this? How do I find like any sort of rhythm or consistency in like building my own thing? So I think that's a really great option to kind of how you structure that and thinking ahead that way. So yeah, I guess any other details too you have on that would probably be really valuable just to hear, like, you know, how you're handling, like how you're structuring. Is it a month to month thing, or is it a by number of content pieces, or how do you go about that, just for general?
I think like doing the social for so many places helped me because now I know like what clients want. So like
Okay.
if I just did photos, I don't know, like it's valuable, but I don't know, like month to month is that
Yeah.
valuable to them. But like
Sure.
being able to create a content plan for them,
Mm-hmm.
like here's the things that you should post, and then I'm gonna deliver on things you should post. If
Yeah.
you want me to post it, like I have to charge you extra, but like I can do that also.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
And then
Nice.
like the website background helps too. 'Cause
That's
if
great.
you need me to do that, that's like an extra
Right.
fee. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah, you got a bunch of add-ons also to the base services. That's great.
Yeah, that's smart.
because I was
Yeah.
on the other side of corporate where like even if I wasn't doing it, they would ask me to help outsource it. So like I knew what was valuable
Sure.
versus
Mhm.
like before as a creative, you're just like, I make good art. Like you should
Right.
want this.
Yeah.
But like they don't necessarily care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing I think ever is this just deciding like retainer, like price, like how do you charge, especially when you offer more than just photo or just video, like managing or, SEO and like what, all this other stuff. So how do you go about, I guess, being competitive where you still can have a good amount of clients to pay you monthly where it makes sense for them, makes sense for you? Like, how do you go about finding that baseline? I know you said you had some previous job with Sam, having all the 7 accounts, you learned a lot, but like, how do you not outprice yourself for somebody like that?
I think what helps is like just reaching out to creatives in Omaha or like in your community that have done it. And
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
ask them like, okay, what would you charge for this?
Mhm.
Right.
Like Josh Fu has been like a great resource to me. Like he's been doing it for so many years.
Right.
Like taught me about licensing and all these things.
Sure.
Sweet.
So like being able to hit them up like, hey, what would you price this? And then
Mhm.
just like a baseline has helped.
Yep.
I think a good place to like asking the companies what's their budget because a lot of times their budget's higher than whatever you're thinking.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I can make
Right.
that.
Right,
So like,
I think
Yeah,
I can
think
squeeze
I
that
can
in.
do something
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I just think this is really valuable because I think
Yeah, it
we've
honestly
been
is.
asked a ton of times like on this retainer, idea, and we have a couple retainers and we've had, different amounts from kind of a lot to mediocre, middle ground like payments per month. But we've just never really known like we've always over delivered, I think, and gave more value than what they pay, which I think is kind of just a core value of ours anyway. Because we want to add value to our clients and keep that relationship going, not just trade dollars for services. But at the same time, there is a capacity level, when you're grinding and you're spending so much time on someone's brand, photo, video, editing, social media, thinking through the content calendar, thinking through strategy. It can be very, very daunting. And for $2,000 a month, sometimes that's not really worth it. It could be to some people, especially if you're starting out, but when you got a whole business to run and a lot more other things and bigger shoots to plan, sometimes the small like retainer stuff can feel heavy. So yeah, I guess
especially when you like you charge them $2,000 a month, but then you can make that in one shoot. So it's
Right.
like,
Right.
You're like, where do you balance it?
For
At
sure.
least for me, what helps is like, what is their goal? Like, so let's say someone's goal is I want to hit 12,000 followers, which is like. Then I ask like, okay, why do you want this? Do you want like to reach? Do you have like budget for like ads? Like, what is like, and then even like in that process and like what they want and why they want to get there, then you can like work backwards. And it's like, okay, to get to your goal, you need like to post every single day,
Yeah.
which means you need a ton of content.
Mhm.
And the content costs X because
Yeah.
maybe I give you a slight discount because it's like consistently,
Yep.
Right.
but like you can quantify how much 10 videos a month is gonna cost.
For sure.
Sure.
And then it's like, okay, like my thinking of this costs how much?
Yep.
Like, am I gonna execute it? If I'm gonna execute it, how much would it cost me to pay someone to do it?
Mm.
And whether I do it or not, it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
like I'm gonna make what's this gonna cost to
Mhm.
outsource it.
For sure.
So like things like that kind of help me.
Yeah. No, that's really great. Just ask what they need and then work backwards from there. That's actually really great advice.
Yeah.
I have another thought on that is you said outsourcing. So right now, do you handle every single thing or do you create relationships with people and offload some of that onto maybe some friends or some people that are more expertise in, XYZ?
Right now I control most of it, but I do have like I outsource a lot of it.
Yeah.
Nice.
For sure.
Like I have friends that fly drones that can shoot. So like
Mm.
sometimes you just don't have enough time to do everything.
Yeah,
so
for
it's
sure.
just easier to like if I know they're talented and can do it, it's like, hey,
Right.
what's
Yeah.
your price to do this?
And just work it in the budget. Yeah. That's awesome. I love
But
that.
then it's tricky because like you don't want to do it too much. At least me, because then like the client expects you to do it. And
Yeah.
you want your face, so it's like balancing that.
This month
Yeah.
you did like 4 drone shots and photography. Can we
Yeah.
do that like every day?
Exactly.
They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, for like 20 grand.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a funny thing that you said, the drone thing, because I think that is a selling point for people. Love drone. People love
Mhm.
sky views of their homes, their businesses,
Mhm.
whatever that is, and I think it really makes a difference. But I think we've undersold that service for a long time. We're really good at it. I'm very confident we are the best drone pilots in town. I'm not saying like the FPV stuff where you're like
Yeah.
flying through like
Mhm.
little cracks this big,
Right.
but like our drone shots are better than any I've seen. And so like when I'm that passionate about it, I'm like, well, we should probably be charging like for that, but we just kind of lump it into our everyday services as
Right.
like, you just get this when you hire us, which it seems a little silly because there are people that just hire people for just drone work.
Mhm.
So it's probably something we need to evaluate. Again, we love adding value to our customers, but there's also like that, are we just giving too much where we're not
Right.
getting reciprocated the value there?
Mhm.
I think that's the thing like most creatives do is like they don't understand what their unfair advantage is. Like everyone has an advantage that they're just like so much better at than like anyone else, but
Yeah.
they don't necessarily like value it like other
Right.
people do.
Sure.
Right.
So like drones for you guys is like people pay like a lot just for drones, and you guys are nice with it. So like why not like sell that or like talk
Mhm.
about that?
Yeah.
Sure. Or at least like even more, even like offering it as a service
Yeah.
rather than just being
Right.
like, oh, it just comes with the everyday package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we actually just put that in everything.
Right.
I honestly, I'm kind of just realizing that right now is like, we just
include
in almost every shoot,
we
like-
charge to bring the physical drone.
Yeah,
on
it's
the
like 10
proposal.
bucks.
yeah, $10 to like carry it to the
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah, we
but-
charge rental fee of the whole of the drone, and that's pretty
That's
much it.
Yeah.
the 2 hours of flying it, you just get for free.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
yeah, we just got like a form filled out, and the guy was like talking about what he wanted, and he said drone footage would be a plus if you could. And it was like, to
What do you
us,
mean
that-
if you could?
if you
Like,
could,
of course
yeah,
we're
that
gonna
was,
fly
like,
the drone. We're
laughable.
gonna fly the drone
Right.
at everything.
Exactly. But like that gives us great perspective from like the client side of things, is like it's not so clear that
Right.
we even do drone, let alone are really, really good at it.
Well, and I
So-
think it goes back to what you said of like, what would this cost me to hire out? I think just
Mhm.
thinking that way of like, okay, if I were to go and hire a licensed drone pilot
Mhm.
to bring their drone and fly for 2 hours, like it would probably cost me a minimum of $500 just for the 2 hours of their time. I don't know
Right.
if that's
Yeah.
if that lines up
Yeah.
with what you've seen, but I know
Yeah.
people can charge several $100s an hour
Mhm.
just to fly a drone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good
And my
That is great.
it's a good thought.
funny, but my mom told me that she was like, plan your like shoots out as if you don't have to do anything, as if
Mhm.
you're just like the point
You're
guard.
staffing all of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Staffing it out.
yeah.
It's great.
Then
Yeah,
you
we-
can-
Dang.
yeah.
We've taken a very different approach, I think, and maybe to some of our detriment.
Yeah.
But I think largely to our benefit. It's just a different approach than what you typically would see in like the film industry, where every position is contracted out.
Mhm.
They're all not people that work together typically
Mhm.
on a daily basis. Sometimes they have relationships, but we we have the same team that we bring to everything,
Yeah.
and it's always the same DP and director and cam
Mhm.
operator, and like we don't hire makeup artists and really cast all that often. And so yeah, it's just a different approach. But I think thinking that way of like, okay, well, what would this cost if we were just the production company and we needed to fill all of these roles with trained professionals in those areas? I feel like things would look a little different. So yeah, it's a good
Because my mom only
good to
told
keep
me
in
that
mind.
because like you guys, I was doing everything.
yeah.
Mhm.
She's like, what are you doing? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, you're not like you're barely getting paid because like even though it's a lot to you, like you're doing every single step from like
sure.
idea to like
This is great.
post production.
This is, yeah.
Your parents need a consulting firm or something.
Dude,
it
literally.
sounds like
For
I
real.
love them.
So with that, I guess my next question would be like, you have one more slot for a retainer client. Like, what then? What's next? Do you plan on growing this beyond yourself full time, or
My honest goal is to like go full time YouTube. Just like put out like
Oh,
YouTube
sick.
content. Like if I could like pick, I would do that 1,000%.
sure?
Okay.
Are you currently working towards that goal?
I'm currently working towards.
So what do you like? I guess I didn't even know that.
So like
I know you
I'll-
do like travel vlog stuff.
Yeah, I'll
which-
like travel vlogs, like a little bit of like tutorials, but mostly just like documenting things, just making it interesting, just like
Yeah.
showcasing art.
So
Yeah.
are those travel vlogs, like some of them I'm sure are like results of your filming a project in those
Mhm.
locations, so you also are able to get this
Yeah.
like personal content. Is that most of them, or do
That's
you
what most
take
of them
just
is.
trips? You know, like
I
are
th-
you able to take trips solely for that purpose to film them?
I think it's hard. Like once you get like free trips, like work trips, it's
Yeah.
hard to like. Why would I like pay out of my pocket?
Sure.
When
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
$3,000 to-
yeah, for sure.
So like that's what most of them is, or
Okay,
like
cool.
documenting like here's how I got this project. And,
Oh,
like
sure.
showcasing that.
Sick.
Because I was watching this podcast with this guy named Mark Bone.
Yeah.
And like he was saying like, oh yeah, I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish. And then like now YouTube, I'm getting paid the same amount and I can make everything I want to make without like all the like politics of like,
Sure.
oh, you're working with this client, this person, this agency, like even the Nike project, it was like amazing experience. It was super cool. But like I noticed like how far down it can get. Like a DP is not the same person as like our small projects where
Yeah.
we can like
Right.
Yeah.
think of the idea, execute it. Like you don't have the same luxury and freedom.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, Mark's cool, dude.
Yeah, he is.
He does a lot of documentary stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's my dad.
Okay, so I'm scrolling through your Instagram over here, and I had this question in my head as I was like preparing for this. How did you come about like your own style of work? And because what I pictured in my head is like you have kind of just your general direction as a creative. Then you're also, like you said, you started by working for a bunch of these other companies doing their social, so to some degree you have to adopt what they want the style to be. So how did your style develop, or did you notice as it was developing into what it is now?
I guess I don't even notice my style, if I'm
Yeah.
being honest. Like other people have to tell me what it is because I just
Sure.
don't like necessarily know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So it's
Yeah.
just a natural.
Yeah,
it
it's
was
just
just a
like-
natural
it's just a
progression.
natural
that
I,
much.
I
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like I can relate to that. I don't really know what my style is, but I know if you put a camera in my hand, I'm going to crush whatever you tell me what to
Yeah.
do, whether it's
Mhm.
photo or video or social content. And
Mhm.
like, even to the point of like, you can plan and you can get like a
Mhm.
feel or vibe or like a look or like a mood board or whatever, you can visually like get inspired, but at the same time, like you get on set and like you can change all
Yeah.
creative that second.
yeah.
And I think that happens honestly more often than not, where like I have an idea, I walk in, and then that idea is no longer as good as the one we're about to shoot because Austin turned on a light and it was like a circle behind this guy. And I was like, oh, cool. The whole shoot just changed because a light, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I think that's the fun and the beauty of what we do is the creative, that what you were just talking about. We don't got to answer to
Exactly.
Mr. Big Rich Guy at Nike, but we can flip on lights and mess around and like come up with a creative that's our own, and then it's more fulfilling, I think, and then you're more proud of it because like you keep calling it art because it is art, and then we get to post about it and be proud. Like yesterday we did a shoot. I was like so proud. I sent like all these like clips and photos to like
Mhm.
some close friends because I'm like, dude, we freaking killed this shoot. Like I'm so proud of it.
As
and I
he
was-
should be. It's
That's
really
the
dope.
best.
And like I was just so excited, and I'm like, it's not often that we get to be super creative and have the freedom and then
Mhm.
be super proud about something
Yeah.
because you're at the liberty of your clients.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it's good to be able to have those moments of just like fulfillment and creative fulfillment.
And like, so like the way I got my job is I walked into the Inter Food Hall and I was like, I think it was 20. I was in college. I don't remember.
Okay.
And I walked in and then I was like, hey, can I like shoot a food video for you guys? Because at the time I was super into like all those
The whip
food.
pans
Yeah, I
and
was like, I was
stuff?
super
Yeah,
into that.
bro.
So then I do that, and then they're like, "Oh, cool, sweet, I got some free food out of it." And then like COVID happened. A year later, I go back and I'm like, I could probably make a sushi video and get sushi.
Yeah.
And then I walk in there, and then I asked the guy cooking. He's like, "Oh, let me just ask the owner." And the owner's like, "Kevin," he's like, "I love your stuff, but like I watch your video,
No
blah
kidding.
blah blah." And I'm like, he's like, "Would you want to do something for the whole Interrail and then everyone, and we pay you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So
Yeah,
then like
yeah, so get
I
the
was
sushi.
going in like thinking for free food. I got the free food and I got paid.
Heck
All right, hold
yeah.
on. This is literally, we have talked about this principle right
Mhm.
here, probably the entirety of our career. So when we first started, we walked into a place just like you did and was like, yo, can we just make you a free video? There was no like, I want some stuff or things.
Right.
Like, I was like, hey, can we just do this for free and show you that we're like, we could do this, and then maybe you could pay us, later. You hope that's the thing.
Yeah.
But you were adding value to people. That's exactly what you just did. You were like, maybe I'll get a free burger. Maybe I'll get some free sushi.
Yeah.
But like, that's like $12. Like,
Yeah, it's not
like-
like you're not like taking advantage of anyone. You're not like you're adding so much value to them.
yeah.
Just-
And that, not only that, like a year later, that turned into not only a gig for one client, but an umbrella of clients.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be something here. There's a
Has to
principle
be.
here.
Yep.
Of you went in, you served this person, you got a free burger, cool. But then 1 year later, you literally got 7+ clients
Mhm.
and paid you retainer, like way more above
Exactly.
and beyond what you could ever think or ask or imagine,
Yeah.
which is from the Bible, which I feel like it's just very Christ-like that
Yeah.
you walked in, served them, and then God just blessed you on the
Yeah.
back half, which
Amen.
is so sick. Look at God.
Yeah. Look at him.
I love it.
Since I was like 13, taking pictures every day,
Mhm.
I've been taking pictures at church every single Sunday.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
until now. Now I help them with the streaming and stuff. So
Yeah.
like I notice all my friends that are like really good creatives have like served at the church in like
Mhm.
some capacity.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like all the things you learn from that, because every Sunday you're in the same location.
Yeah.
How do you get interesting shots
Yeah.
every single time
Mm-hmm.
that like are impactful and like, different?
Yeah.
And,
It's
like,
tough.
And like people that have been doing it for years, that's like a lot. Like, how do you not get the same stuff? So like
Yeah.
even serving God in that way, like
Mm-hmm.
I believe you get blessed by doing that.
Oh,
For sure. Yeah.
100%.
I mean, that's where Darren and I met, was
Right.
at church, and started serving together and taking photos at church. And I mean, I can't even tell you the blessing that we've gotten from just being planted in a local church, serving the local church. And
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today
Right.
on this
Truth.
mic. Dude, I used to like, that's kind of funny, but I used to like dream about owning one of these mics. I used to like watch videos of like worship leaders singing in
Yeah.
the SM7B. I love you.
I want it.
And now we got 3 of them. No, but
That's
anyway,
dope.
it's just cool. Look at God. So good.
Oh, but to answer your question,
Yeah.
like fast forward all that,
Mm-hmm.
I got to work with like some really cool branding agencies and like learn from all of them.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So like even when applying to the client, it was easier for me because I was like young, molded by them and how
Sure.
they think.
Yeah.
Because there's a challenge in like one creator creating from different brands and not all of them looking like your style.
For sure.
Right.
So like that was something I really tried to do. Is like,
Okay.
how do I make it look like Kevin didn't shoot every single day?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
find that hard at times, or?
So, like it's just, I'm sure people could tell, but like I just try to like my best.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Was
Yeah.
that like, just like to get in some of the detail real quick, like were there like different presets and different?
So like I
Color.
would the shot type. So like I would use different lenses. I would try different angles, different
Okay.
lighting,
Yeah.
and then like the colors would be very different too.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Sounds fun, actually,
Yeah.
but also kind of stressful.
Yeah.
Sounds really stressful.
But it was a cool challenge because like if you just wake up, you're just gonna do like
Yeah.
what you're used to, muscle memory.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think we do that too. I mean, I think it's a challenge being in weddings, because with weddings, people book you based off your style. So like you
Mhm.
want to have a style. Most people use, the same LUT that's their go-to LUT. They use it for all their wedding films. That's like their LUT, their
Yeah,
style, their
yeah.
their thing. And so it's like you have to shift the mindset when doing client work, where you're not just creating a you branded film, but you're making a video or photos that need to fit their brand. And so
Yeah.
that's been something that we've had to just learn and get better at, and try to
Mhm.
break away from like, this is our style of filming or our style of shooting or editing or whatever, and really trying to edit things that fit the brand that we're working with.
You would laugh if you like looked at our first wedding film ever to like our wedding film now, like, and just the difference in style. Like we were so dark and moody and like doing like freaking fade to black pan like transitions and like just the craziest, like ridiculous stuff,
Yeah.
so unnecessary, and like aspect ratios like 13
Oh,
by
yeah.
4,000. Like it was just so
I
ridiculous.
feel like there's the evolution. Like you can see a creator and you're like, okay, you're in like the whip pan. phase.
Yeah.
You're in like
Yeah,
bokeh
the
everything
phase.
phase.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
For sure.
Oh man. So what phase do you see when you see our stuff now?
You guys are above me. I'm trying to get to you.
Whatever.
Like you guys
Come
have
on
like
now.
a whole team phase, you know?
Yeah, there's like it's cool because I mean I love the phase that you're in too, and not
Mhm.
that like one's above, it's just different journeys.
Yeah.
But I think it's fun to discuss like what you're doing on a day to day as a creative and what we're doing, and it's just it's just different. But I think this would be a great time to encourage, I guess, if you got anything, Austin.
Encouragement
So this is our encouragement time
Yeah.
segment. If you don't know what this is a time where we encourage our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, do you have anything that you would encourage our listeners? They're creatives maybe that just started out, or maybe they're people like us that have been doing it for a minute, or have a team, or just a solopreneur. What would you encourage them with?
Wow. I would encourage you guys to like keep on going, because there's times when you're like, I don't know if you guys still feel this, but there's times where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. How did I get here?
Oh yeah.
all the
Like,
time.
Oh,
am I
definitely.
even good enough? Like,
Yep.
just keep on going, because you just get better.
Yeah.
Amen.
It's good.
Just keep on going,
Yeah.
because you will get better. It's
That's
literally
fact.
it's
Yeah.
inevitable.
Yeah.
Like you do something over and over and over, and you're gonna keep getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, when you're like, I can't believe I was dreaming about this mic.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe the second part is like dream bigger, because you will reach your goals and then you're like, now what? So
Yeah.
like, probably think bigger than what you're thinking now.
Amen.
That's great.
So good. I
Awesome.
love it.
Yeah, same.
Great encouragement time. Simple but effective. That's
I have a
good.
question for you guys.
Yeah, what's up?
What's like the coolest project you've worked on, or like a project you're like, I never thought this would be possible?
It's a great question.
First thing that pops into my mind is working with actually Logitech on this when they released this mic, and we don't have it in here, but they released like a new light and a new mic. Got to work with Dr. Lupo. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a pretty famous streamer. And so we worked with a creative agency out of LA that was working directly with Logitech, and got to work with him. And it was like one of the few projects where we got to like be super creative, present a treatment, do a mood board, all that stuff. And it wasn't like a crazy high paying project. It was a pretty small project, but that was probably one of the most fun ones that I've worked on.
Yeah, it's just cool to be trusted with somebody's brand, and when it's a brand like Logitech that's huge, is really cool. And Dr. Lupo, I don't know a lot about streamers and gamers, but he was like one of the biggest Twitch streamers ever. Then moved fully over to YouTube, but he's a stellar dude. But he actually like lives in Nebraska, so they were just there. His agency was looking for somebody here in town locally, and they just Googled us and found us, and they picked us to shoot it. So we were honored. But as far as like anything else, like somebody asked me this recently, and I don't know that we've done that project yet.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh man, like this like really moves me. Like I'm proud of some of the stuff we put out, but I mean, there's videos of like farmers that we've shot that like, I think are cool and make a difference, but like they're not, I don't think they're the video that I'm like dying to show my whole family and
Yeah.
my friends. I think everything we put out, like we do the best with what we have, and we put everything into it. But yeah, I think we're still waiting for that story to tell that's really, really passionate, that moves, a lot of people. And yeah, whether that's maybe a documentary or docuseries or a mini doc on someone's life or something that's really impactful, I think we'd be really excited about that, but we just haven't given the opportunity yet. And so, yeah, I think really long story short, I don't think I've filmed that yet and directed and put together that film yet. And so
Agreed.
we're excited for that.
Yeah.
We're kind of stretching that. We were talking about different levels, but like I feel like the level that we're at right now is we know that we want to level up our production and what we can bring to the table, but we need a shot or a chance at doing that.
Yep.
And so we're kind of like knocking on doors being like, hey guys, like we could, if you give us a shot, like we could knock this out of the park for you. And they're like, oh yeah, it does look like you could do that. But we actually have this other company that we're used to working with, or, the story is, hey, maybe we'll work together in the future. We love your stuff. You guys seem great, but budget or this, or, oh, we went with this company because they've worked with us before. So we get it. And we've been praying. It's on our prayer board out there of like, just new opportunities to kind of level up in budget. So there's more to work with, talent and scouting locations and just doing some of that stuff where it's not really necessary for the few $1,000, up to $10,000 jobs. It's just like, oh, we're going to roll up, we're going to shoot to the best of our ability. We're going to edit a really stellar video for your location or your business, and then we're going to move on to the next one. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
I feel like it's interesting. Like, I don't know if it's an age thing, but I've noticed that, like, would you guys like to make films?
Like
documentaries? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, I have no interest in, like, because when we walked into Edison, I had no idea, like, what I was doing in that meeting. But then they were like, oh, you guys are filming, like, the videos. And I was thinking to myself, like, dude, I did not want to do a short film like that. But then they were like, Kevin, you do the social content. I was like, yes. Like,
Yes.
like if it's
Let's
vertical
go.
video, like, I just love, like, I feel like that's, like, the thing I love the most. Like,
Yeah.
shooting for, like, short attention spans.
Sure.
Like, just love that.
Yeah.
It's a great time to love that. I'll tell you that.
Right.
I know.
Yeah, no, that's great. I also do, like, I do have like a passion for that stuff, like shorter, just even like I care probably most about like our YouTube channels and our outward facing content and our brands. Like, I want them to be and feel really good. And so there is like a piece of me I feel like is starting to be unveiled, but like I don't know like where that piece fits like in Glory Visuals.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, like, Lord,
Your thrift vlog, fire.
yeah, so that
Love
was
that.
Yeah.
we were just talking about that today. Like, dude, that was so fun, and it was like just so simple. Like,
I watched that like 3 times. I'm like, this is sick. And I was just like,
Dope.
yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it was awesome. Like, we got our new FX6, and we just like
Yeah.
we went to this place I love thrifting at, and I just talked on this mic, and we recorded a little VO, and I was like, we need to do more stuff like this because
Right.
it fills us up. It didn't take us like any time.
Right.
That's the funny part. All the stuff we love doing, it took us like half a day to shoot and like half a day to edit.
We're very efficient at it.
It's like-
We're pretty good at it.
It's like, holy crap. And then we got all this like people, like friends that are DPs and directors, like from different cities. Like one of our buddies, he like was like, bro, this is sick. Do more of this. And we're like, yeah, we should. And then 2 months goes by and we're like,
right.
bro, remember that one time we were going to do more stuff like this and then we never did?
Yeah.
Dope. We should probably.
It's
Yeah.
hard though, like when like stuff is paying you to
Yep.
do stuff that isn't paying.
It's hard to
For sure.
justify the time, even though like exactly what Darren said. It's like those are the projects that we put the least amount of thought into, the least amount of time doing it. But like, it's that going back to just being artists and not.
Yeah.
My default is like I want to know exactly what I'm walking into, but I think that removes some of that like flexibility and open-mindedness of being able to walk in. Like, what is so cool about weddings and why I think you grow so much from weddings is like every wedding's different. There's no 2 weddings that are the same, and you can't control most of it. So you're walking in to an environment that you don't know of, and you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to create and to be able to just be an artist in the moment. And so, yeah, I feel like the projects that have been the most fulfilling, although, yeah, the Logitech one was cool. That was more like client projects, but the ones that have been fulfilling, honestly, that one's probably the most memorable is the thrifting, because it was a real story. It was just authentic. It was something that we could be creative, but also spontaneous and not have to plan everything out. Didn't have to have a script. We didn't have to use ChatGPT to help us, write a caption for it. Like it was, and that's why when you ask documentaries, like, yes, I think we've realized recently through getting feedback on that video that like, I think we would freaking crush documentaries because it's not 100% pre-produced, it's a lot of organic, authentic. And I think that I've realized that we work best in that, in that environment. But
early on, Austin and I had an opportunity to shoot for a Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and we it's like a lung, what is it?
Like a lung disease.
Lung disease. So like you can't really leave your house because you have so many medications and like these machines that like vibrate to like take the mucus off your lungs so you can breathe and all these different things. It's really gnarly.
Yeah.
Like the amount of pills they got to take and all this crazy stuff. So we got hit up. I don't remember how we got the job, but they were like, hey, we could, you could say like, we're going to charge like 10 grand and we'll just like write you guys a write-off, because they were like a nonprofit and didn't have a ton of budget. And we went to the dinner and like they showed it and whatever. So we made this like 17-minute like mini doc about this guy's daily life of like how hard it is to be suffering from this. And it was cool. You know, he had dogs and he trains dogs for a living. So there was like that story and it was really interesting. And then he had his girlfriend or wife and doing life together. And so we went there straight away at like 6:30 a.m. You know, it was really dark and dim and it was just like cool. And he walked through his like regimen for like the pills he has to take. And then we like went on a walk and he like longboarded with his dogs and we, you know, walked through his life and it was really, really cool. And it was so much fun. I remember for me editing it, like just, it was just like unlocking parts of my brain. I was like, oh, this is so fun. And the music, I mean, it's pretty like emotional. It's like emotive. It's very like, we styled it very dark and dim and didn't really light. I don't think we even brought a light.
I don't think we had any
I
light.
don't think we even owned lights actually at the time. And so we scrapped it like, or we went about it really scrappy, but it was really fun. I remember just feeling like excited about telling the story of something that I never knew about. So we learned. So we were just genuinely asking questions and learning as we were sitting with this guy. And I mean, he's like barely older than me and just like suffered for so many years. And it's just been cool. And so ever since then, I was like, man, we really like that documentary style type thing, but never really have. It's the tough part about it is, I just in Omaha, Nebraska, there isn't a lot of people worrying about doing, you know, story based commercials or docu style, you know, commercial based content.
Yeah,
it's more just ads and whatever, Facebook ads and quick attention span stuff. And so and we were talking to another director, they were saying they're seeing the shift of people want more authentic. And so I don't think I know, like God's setting us up for the opportunity if somebody's going to give us a shot where we are going to be able to tell their story and give it a documentary style approach. And I'm really excited for that, but we're just not there yet, but we'll get there.
Yep.
That makes me think of like two things. Like one, I miss when I only had like one camera, one lens. Like just how freeing that
For sure.
is.
Yeah.
Versus like having a cinema camera and like just it's just a pain. Just like having
it is
lights,
a pain. Yeah.
audio,
building
just like,
it all out and like
just
I love it though.
it's I do love
awesome.
it.
But I also hate it sometimes.
It's cool.
I'm
Like,
like, bro, I'll just take this. See you guys.
Right.
Like, it's like I think before you're there, you're just like, when I get this, it's gonna level me up. So much. Then once you get there, you're like, this is sick. It's like it's worth it. But like I remember when I was just free, able to like create.
For sure.
And then the second part is like, maybe this is like advice to creatives too. Like,
sure,
even though you're amazing and no matter how good you are, sometimes people don't know you can do it if you don't show them you can do it.
For sure.
So like, if you don't have any concert photos in your reel or in your Instagram, and you tell people you can do it, they only half believe you.
Yeah.
Right.
So unless you've done it,
it's
hard to get like the gig until you've like done it before.
For sure. Yeah, I think for you too. I mean, and I pay a lot of attention to that stuff because people do look you up.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, yo, have you ever heard of Kabuckets? Kevin, he crushes it. You should hire him or whatever. And it's like, all right, cool, bet. I trust you, but you're gonna look him up right there.
Yep.
And then you're gonna check out the page. If it's like you like just flashing money in a picture, and then the next one like you're just eating Subway sandwich, and then the other one you're doing, I don't know, like just weird content. Like they're gonna be like, no, this dude's whack. Like I'm not gonna hire them. I'm not gonna. But if you're gonna be posting and you care about your grid a little bit, you know, you show that you travel, you know, whatever, you put out the work that you want more of, and so people are gonna see it and they're gonna be drawn to it and they're gonna see the style regardless of what you do. But you're gonna be like, whoa, this guy like cares and he knows what he's doing, and that's what your feed does show that. You've ever since we started following you, or we've heard of you like. I don't even know, a long time ago, but you were always posting cool, like creative shots. Like I remember the one shot of you that was stuck in my head when we were talking about this podcast, was you're sitting on a couch. Was it at like Zen or something?
Yeah,
on like the little couch.
Yeah.
The good vibes only sign in the
Yeah,
back.
or something. I was like,
that.
but that like stuck in my head for whatever. Every time I thought of Kabuckets, I thought of Kevin's photo, like with the, because like you were intentional about like the content you posted. So, I mean, you got to be intentional with that for sure.
Because I know there's people that's like, I didn't get this job because of like whatever reason. And then like the reason is probably because like they don't think you can do it because you haven't shown them you can do it.
For sure.
No showcase.
Yeah. That's why we're pretty vulnerable and like post a lot. Like we're pretty active on our stories, like our day to day, like what we're doing, and some serious stuff that like, hey, we're working, like grinding on this. And so I think people love seeing that stuff. They love it builds trust. And so if you're not posting and being authentic on your page, you definitely need to be posting your work, something you're proud of, like screenshot some stills. I literally did that yesterday. I posted today, like, hey, look at this shot. Like, and it's cool. Like we posted, I invited the lighting company as a collaborator and they accepted it. Like stuff like that, like matters. Like if you're proud of something and you want to post about it and tag the gear that you're using in the post, tag the lighting that you're in the post, like tag the people, like people will share it. And that's exactly what happens. And then people, it builds trust with people, and then they're more apt to hire you for their next content needs and all of that.
Do you find it like hard to be proud of the stuff you make, or?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I'd say.
Pretty I mean, I
probably Austin
pretty
more
self-critical.
than anyone else in the office.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm maybe less. We're probably the extremes right here. It's hardest for Austin and least hard for me. I think because I was such a big fan of them before I came here, that I would just like so much respect, and I asked them for a ton of advice and like just all this stuff they really poured into me. So I think I had kind of this reverence, and still do, for just the brand and them specifically. They're like, it for me, like I'll go home and show Bethany like on our Vimeo, look at this farmer video that we made. Like I'm really proud of it. And some of those, like I didn't even I maybe shot something or I did some pre-production, like hardly ever edit any of the like end videos, but I'm just so proud of like the work that we do. So I would say it's less hard for me because I still think of us in that, like when I'm emailing people, reach out and I'm saying, hey, I'm Trev from Glory Visuals, the premier video production company in the Midwest. Like I mean that. I don't say it because I want to sell something, or I genuinely think that. So I think it's easiest for me probably out of anybody here.
Yeah, so Trev's probably like here, and then I'm probably like here, and then Austin's probably like here.
Yeah.
But I think it does kind of like sway.
Yeah.
I definitely can go towards Austin more because we're running the company together side by side. Right. And so there is like an attention to detail and like level of quality of product and everything that we're going to really just be fanatical about. But I think there is a lot of pride collectively that we're really happy with what we do and put out. For sure.
It's a balance.
And we can't speak for Bray.
Yeah, she just hates us all. So.
She just doesn't talk that much about that. So
because I've been following you guys since I was like 18.
And you're 24 now. Okay, so hot minute. Dang, look at
that
you.
Was like when we started then, because we've only been a company for 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, these people are sick.
Well,
agreed.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, we think you're sick.
Yeah.
So that's great. Well, awesome, bro. Thank you seriously for joining us on the pod.
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know why it took us so long to get you on here. But it's been cool just bumping back into you and just kind of seeing what's up with you and your amazing adventures and all the crazy content you're doing. You're killing it. And I know that this has been super inspirational for them just to hear your story and your journey. But where can they find you on social media? Like, how can we keep up with you and all that?
At Kabuckets at everything. KABUCKETS.
All right.
Sick.
Is that from the NBA dreams?
I used to play like basketball, so I played at Midland my freshman year.
Okay.
So,
like, cool.
In high school, like this is one of the juniors when I was a sophomore. Was like, my last name is Kabore, so he was like
Kabore
buckets, and he was like Kabuckets, and it just stuck. And I was like, that's kind of fire.
Okay.
Dang. So is that like your like YouTube too?
Yeah, that's my YouTube too.
Cool.
Nice.
And how much are you posting on YouTube right now?
By the time they see this, like at least once a week.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Sick. That's awesome. I'm sick because if you're not and you're trying to be a YouTuber, I'm gonna hold you.
Yeah.
Because now, because I know now that you want to be a YouTuber.
That's
like,
right.
Where are you at subs wise right now on YouTube?
I'm at like 380.
All right.
Dope.
Like that.
I'm just asking for when we do another one in a year.
Yeah.
Like,
and you have
100,000 or more. We're
Yeah.
gonna,
Let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sweet. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Kev.
Heck yeah.
All right, that's all we got for you for this episode. If you enjoy this podcast, please do us a favor. Make sure that you leave us a rating. Let us know your thoughts, or if you didn't like the podcast, then you can let us know that too. We love hearing your feedback and would love to see what you think of the show.
But leave a 5-star because that'll make us get in front of more people. So don't leave us anything less than 5. Five stars only, or
Just
send it
be
back.
honest.
But 5 stars.
Okay.
It'll hurt us if you don't leave us a 5-star review. So 5 stars.
If you don't say if you don't have nothing nice to say, then don't say nothing.
But actually, though,
That's great. That's a great line. If you want to follow along with us on social, you can find us on Instagram at The Glory Boys Pod, or on TikTok at The Glory Boys Podcast.
if you want to see cute videos of this cute doggo, if you're watching on YouTube, this is my dog Lola. She's here at the office all the time, so we post about her all the time because she's cute. So if you want to see a lot of that and more of what we do in our company, Glory Visuals, definitely follow us at Glory Visuals on every single platform. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. We love you guys a ton, and we'll see you in there.
See you in there.
See you in there.